With Fidelity Local 6, this is your weekly recap. I'm Richard Vickers. A St. Robert man was indicted by a grand jury last month for first-degree involuntary manslaughter in a crash that killed an Edgar Springs man. Austin Lee Kuhn, 19, of St. Robert, is accused of being under the influence of alcohol while driving a vehicle in excess of 90 miles per hour in southern Phelps County, which resulted in a crash that killed Shane E. Black, 18, of Edgar Springs on February 7th. The crash occurred on Highway FF east of Edgar Springs. Both Kuhn and Black were ejected from the car. Black was pronounced dead at the scene less than an hour after the crash. Kuhn was seriously injured and transported to Phelps County Regional Medical Center by an ambulance. A historical road rally featuring over 100 cars that date from before 1972 will be passing through Rolla Saturday, June 20th as part of the Great Race. Racers will start in Kirkwood, Missouri on the morning of June 20th and end in Santa Monica, California on June 28th, following historical Route 66. Rolla has been chosen as the lunch stop for the 100 or so cars and their team of drivers on June 20th. The race is not a speed event, but rather a competition for drivers and navigators to meet certain checkpoints at specified times throughout the 8-day, 2,000-mile run. A hearing for a Rolla police lieutenant who is appealing his demotion got underway recently. Lieutenant Jason Smith is challenging the city administrator's decision to demote him from captain on November 13, 2014 for policy violations. Alleged violations include secretly tape recording fellow police officers, failure to immediately report fiscal misconduct, and using profanity and harassing others. The hearing began April 2nd and 3rd and continues April 16th. The Rolla Police Personnel Board, with James Crump acting as the hearing officer, will decide whether the punishment was fair or not. Testifying in the hearing is Keith Kilmer, the investigator hired by the city to look into the allegations made against Smith. City Administrator John Butts, Interim Police Chief Lieutenant Rick Williams, and Sergeant John Fry also testified. Smith is expected to testify April 16th. Smith is being represented by attorney Stephen Riles. City councilors Carolyn Boost-Jost and Lance Thurman are defending the city's position to demote Smith. And now with more local news, here's Laura Light.
Hello, I'm Laura Light. The list of potential candidates for the next Rolla Police Chief has been narrowed down to 11 individuals, 4 of these from within the department. According to Rolla City Administrator John Butts, the city received about 45 resumes for the position. The search for a new police chief began last year after the retirement of Chief Mark Kierce on October 1, 2014. Kierce had been chief since April 2007. Since that time, Lieutenant Rick Williams has been serving as acting chief. A final recommendation on a new permanent chief could be brought before the Rolla City Council by early May. Former U.S. Secretary of State Dr. Condoleezza Rice is scheduled to speak at Missouri S&T on Thursday, May 14th, as part of the Rimmer Special Artist Lecturer Series. The lecture is free and open to the public, but tickets are required. Tickets can be obtained at the Leach Theater box office beginning April 6th for S&T students, April 8th for S&T faculty and staff, and April 13th for the general public. Box office hours are from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. Around 30 Newburg High School students skipped classes April 1st to show their support for a beloved English instructor whose contract is not being renewed next year. The students held signs that stated, "Honk for Mr. Thompson," "Save Mr. Thompson," and "Knowledge is power, and Mr. Thompson is our knowledge and power." According to Principal Steve Guffey, Jay Thompson is one of 3 teachers whose contracts were not renewed for the 2015-16 school year due to budget cuts. Thompson was instrumental in expanding the high school's advanced placement language and composition programs. He also will be this year's graduation speaker. The American Red Cross is asking for more volunteers in Phelps County. Catherine Main, Disaster Program Manager for the American Red Cross of Central and Northern Missouri, said there are only 5 dedicated volunteers in the county, and therefore important work isn't getting done. Volunteers are needed to survey possible shelters to house disaster victims and enter data to establish plans of action for emergencies. Maine says she hopes to get 35 more long-term volunteers in Phelps County. Time commitment for volunteers can be as little as 2 hours a week, and much of the training to be a Red Cross volunteer can be done online. For more information or to volunteer, call Maine at 573-635-1132 or visit www.redcross.org. This has been your weekly recap. I'm Laura Light, and thanks for watching.